In 10, Love Island's Helena Ford breaks silence on Lucinda bullying row and reveals why Sammy Elishy left reunion early. Lucinda, 26, had a rocky time in the villa and was at the center of plenty of drama and confrontations with Belle Hassan, Sammy Elishy, and Jessy Potts. Earlier this week, Lucinda admitted she felt she had been bullied by some of the girls, which led to her being isolated from the group. Helena, who formed a friendship with Lucinda in the villa, said she was sad to hear that she felt alone despite her best efforts to support her. Addressing Lucinda's claims, Helena exclusively told The Sun there was never a particular group of people that were together and another particular group of people together. I think because me, Millie, and Leanne dipped in and out of both groups, there wasn't an actual proper divide. There were never points that I had noticed where people were on their own, because I don't like to see people on their own. Even if someone's sunbathing on their own, I'd sit next to them, even if they want to be non-verbal. They don't have the choice. I'll just sit myself down. It's quite sad to hear that she did feel isolated in there. When you've got a house full of girls, the last thing you want to feel is isolated by anyone. It is really sad to hear that, but I think me, Millie, and Leanne dipped in and out of both groups. Helena admitted that living in the villa became very intense, to the point that Islanders were becoming sick of the constant rows. Meanwhile, Helena was forced to become the mediator of the group and try to keep the peace among the girls. She said, "I actually found it easier being in the middle than being on one side. I look at Lucinda like a little sister, and I got really close to Belle from day one, so I was never going to take sides. Every time they would argue, I would never get involved, but afterwards I'd say to Lucinda, maybe you shouldn't have said this, but I'd say the same thing to Belle. You could have done this differently, so I'd always be the mediator between them. But where you've got a group of really strong personalities, there was always going to come a clash at some point. I feel like I was just trying to stay out of it. It got to a point where we were all saying, please stop arguing, because it was getting boring. It was relentless. Every night, it's in the dressing room. And it's not just a small argument. They were loud, explosive arguments. It did get a bit much in there, but when you're on top of each other in a house like that, it's like when you argue with your sisters. You can't get away because they're walking past you and you see them again. It was a very intense environment. Helena went on to address Lucinda's comment on the We Need to Talk podcast, where she said she'd go days without speaking to certain girls. She said, I didn't notice it, but if I think about it, Sean and Lucinda spent a lot of time together. They are the boy-girl version of each other. They are so similar, so they'd spend a lot of time on their own together. They'd be on their own, and she probably wouldn't have an interaction with the girls all day. But it's a small villa. It's quite hard to avoid people. We are amongst each other always. But I can see in the daytime you cannot speak to the girls if you take yourself off with Sean. It's such a tough environment, and you react to things that don't normally annoy you, and you can't get away from it. ITV2 viewers were left baffled when Jessy Potts entered the villa and immediately targeted Lucinda by reputedly having a go at her. Elsewhere, Helena doubled down and said she believed Jessy Potts' outburst towards Lucinda was all part of her game plan. She added, she came into the villa knowing at the time that Lucinda wasn't liked, and Belle was. She came in on a motive to befriend Belle and maybe don't befriend Lucinda. Jessy came in on smoke towards Lucinda and was telling Lucinda off about things that Jessy wasn't in the villa whilst it happened. She was having a go at her, but she wasn't even in the villa at this point. It almost felt like an attack every time, and Lucinda couldn't say or do anything right, and she was mimicking her. I think Jessy thought if she went in and went on the attack to Lucinda, that it would be received well by the public. Obviously, she's gone in there and the whole script's been flipped, and that's not the narrative anymore.